Good morning, happy Monday. I've got a question for you today as we start our series on Servolution. How many of you have had a bad day? I mean, you've just had something terrible happen and you don't want to be bothered with anybody else's problems. I mean, okay, my hand goes up. I mean, we have a bad day and we think, all right, listen, I'll catch you next time. I don't really want to be bothered with anybody else's problems when I'm having a bad day. Well, let's not even just think of a bad day. Let's think of about like one of the worst days you've ever had. Bad day. Maybe you were fired, or you had a terrible fight with your spouse, or you lost a loved one. Definitely, at that point, you don't want to be bothered with anybody else's problems. Well, let me read something for you today, and I don't want to be too long, but I want you to hear this. In Matthew chapter 14, John the Baptist is beheaded. Okay, this is crazy. He's beheaded, and in 14 verse 12, we read, John's disciples came and took his body and buried it. Then they went and told Jesus. Here's the deal. Now, verse 13, when Jesus heard what had happened, he withdrew by boat privately to a solitary place. Who wouldn't? He didn't want to be, he wanted to be alone. His cousin, his partner in ministry was just beheaded. Okay, so here, reading on. Hearing of this, the crowds followed him on foot from the towns. When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them and healed their sick. Now, come on. He was withdrawing to a private place because his loved one of his close family members and ministry partners, was just beheaded. Talk about a bad day. And people follow him anyway, and he saw that they had a need, and he had compassion on them. He didn't walk by and say, sorry, you're going to have to catch me tomorrow. Today's my bad day. He didn't say, go have your own bad day today because I'm having my bad day today. He had compassion on them. Does that sound like what we've been reading so far? I'm going to go back to Philippians chapter 2, and we're going to reference this during our Servolution, because this is what Paul says is Christlike servanthood. In verse 4 of chapter 2, each of you should look not only to your own interests, but also to the interests of others. There it is. There's that Christ-like compassion that we need to have, even in our time of turmoil. We need to have compassion on others in a way that we see that they have something they need, and we help meet their needs. We don't only look to our own interests; we look to the interests of others. Go have Christ-like compassion today, even if you're having a bad day. Have a great day. God bless.